Did you know that most people eat basil without realizing its full health benefits? Not only is basil a delicious addition to pasta, pizza, and other dishes, it also has a long-standing reputation in the natural medicine community as a remedy for nausea, headaches, and even bug bites. Today, I'm harvesting fresh basil from my garden and using it to make 3 quick and easy recipes. While I do this, let me share more about why basil has earned a permanent spot in my garden and why you should consider growing basil at home. Basil is a warm weather plant that comes alive in the summertime. Not only does basil taste amazing, it can also support holistic wellness. Many naturopaths and herbalists talk about using basil for different conditions. In various studies and clinical trials, researchers have looked at basil for its therapeutic benefits, including anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antioxidant, and antiviral properties. Basil has a wide range of beneficial compounds and has been used as a natural treatment for stress, anxiety, and depression. I refer to basil as my instant mood booster. If I'm having a stressful day or want to relax, just the smell of my basil plant in my garden is a quick pick-me-up. If I have time to make some basil tea or another recipe with basil, I do it because the flavor of basil is something I love and it just brightens my day. If I'm going to harvest herbs and save some for later, I like to tie the herbs with some twine at the stems and hang them upside down to dry from a rack or bar. I'll link the one I like in the description box. You can see I'm just taking a little ornament hook and first securing it through the twine and then hanging this up here. Once this is dry, I can crumble the leaves and turn them into dried basil to store in my kitchen and use as a cooking spice. Moving on, now that I've harvested my basil, I'm going to also harvest some fresh tomatoes. One of the classic culinary flavor combinations, especially in Italian-inspired recipes, is tomato and basil. Today, I'm creating several tomato basil dishes, and these tomatoes are ripe and ready to harvest. Ever since I started growing my own food, I'm amazed at how vibrant and flavorful homegrown produce is. The color combinations of these tomatoes are awesome, and I wish you could smell the fresh basil through the camera because it is so sweet and fragrant. Forget store-bought air fresheners, give me some fresh basil any day in the kitchen and the whole house will smell fresh and invigorating. Now I'm giving my basil and tomatoes a good rinse to get rid of any debris. We don't use any pesticides on what we grow at home, so every now and then you will find a caterpillar or an ant hiding in your fresh produce, but they always come off after a good soak or rinse. Today I'm making a few recipes, and the first one is tomato basil and mozzarella skewer bites. I'm starting by removing some basil leaves from the stems. I have one of my little white ramekins here, and I use these for everything. They're super cute and just the right size to hold a variety of different things, so I love using them for toppings for an ice cream sundae bar, or for lots of different candies on a tray during movie night, or for different fruits like berries for a healthy snack. You can tell I have a sweet tooth, but I do get a lot of use out of these. They're from Amazon, and I'll put the link in the description box. Next, it's time to slice my tomatoes into circular rounds. You can dice them into other sizes or shapes, but personally, I like to make them into little circles. Tomatoes are one of the easiest fruits to grow in the garden. And of course, you just can't beat the taste and smell of homegrown fresh tomatoes. This year, we're growing close to 20 different varieties of tomatoes of all different sizes, shapes, and colors. We end up giving so many away to our family and our neighbors because we just can't keep up with all of them, which is a wonderful problem to have. Cherry tomatoes are some of my favorites because they're bite-sized and easy to pick, and you can eat them whenever you want straight off the vine. Let me finish slicing these up before we move on to the next step. Now I'm transferring my tomato slices into a ramekin, and I'll use the leftovers to make a salad for lunch. Here are the 3 ramekins with the ingredients for my skewers. It's just tomatoes and these cute little mozzarella bites from the store and my fresh basil leaves that I just harvested. These little skewers are such a delicious and easy appetizer or snack to make at home. You just need these 3 ingredients and some toothpicks. To make these, I'm taking a toothpick and starting by sliding a mozzarella bite onto the end. Next, I'm adding a tomato slice and just sliding it down so it's touching the mozzarella bite. And I'll go ahead and add a fresh basil leaf for a taste of that amazing sweet basil flavor. Now we repeat this process until the toothpick is full. If you want a little less strong basil flavor, you can put a basil leaf after every few tomatoes or mozzarella bites instead. Here is what a finished skewer looks like. If you're a fan of balsamic vinegar or dressing, you can drizzle some on your skewer if you wish. I prefer mine all natural this way for a simple but classic snack. I'm going to finish making a few more of these to have with lunch today. And we're done. Yum, these look fantastic and they're jam-packed with amazing tomato basil flavor. If you want to get a little fancy, you can also serve these in ramekins. The next recipe I'm making today is what I call a strawberry basil cooler. I'm starting by slicing some fresh strawberries with my knife and removing the tops. Strawberries are one of my favorite berries. Not only do I love eating strawberries fresh, I also frequently use them for smoothies, jam, and different desserts. Here are some of the basil leaves I harvested earlier. If you like a strong, savory basil flavor, you can add quite a few basil leaves like I do. If you prefer more of a sweet strawberry flavor with a hint of basil, add a few less leaves. Here is my nice tall glass for my strawberry basil cooler. I'm adding a generous amount of ice since it's hot today, and now I'm just incorporating my sliced strawberries and basil. The final step is to add water, which can be flat or sparkling based on your preference until the glass is full. Then you'll give this a good stir to get that delicious strawberry basil flavor fully infused into the water. Have you ever gone to a fancy hotel at a warm location during the summertime and they have ice cold cucumber water in the lobby? To me, this is an elevated, more flavorful version of that, and it's so easy and simple to make at home. It makes you feel like you could be on a tropical vacation, and all you need is a lounge chair, a sun hat, and a refreshing drink like this. This next recipe is pure nostalgia mixed with some garden delights. I'm making a tomato basil grilled cheese because you can't go wrong with grilled cheese, and the fresh tomato and basil from the garden really make this recipe pop. Now I'm adding a slice of provolone cheese to my gluten-free bread here. I find this cheese complements my tomato and basil really well. For my tomatoes, I'm cutting these ones I harvested from the garden into large slices. My cheese is looking nice and melty, so it's time to add my tomatoes and basil. Let's add the other bread slice right on top and press it down gently just to help it stick a little. Now let me flip this over, and after several more minutes, my beautiful grilled cheese is done. This is always my favorite part of cooking, and that is the first bite. I've got to try this and see what I think. At first glance, the recipe looks perfectly melted and very colorful thanks to my red and yellow garden tomatoes. Okay, here we go. I would give this a 10 out of 10. No, I'm not exaggerating. I highly recommend this if you're looking for a delicious gluten-free comfort food recipe. Seriously, the flavor is truly unmatched, and grilled cheese will always hit the spot for me. That's all for this video, but for more videos about natural wellness and how to grow your own food at home, I invite you to subscribe, and I think you'll like this video where I share all about the benefits of oregano. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video.